This week, I'll lead you through a short yin yoga practice focusing on the hips and legs. We're going to stay in each pose for only about 2 minutes, so hopefully you can fit this into your daily or weekly routines. Let's get started. For this practice, we only need a bolster as a prop. So if you have a bolster, bring it next to you, or you could have a rolled up blanket or maybe some pillows, cushions that you could use as a bolster. We'll need that support in a couple of poses. And then when you are ready, find your way into child's pose. That's going to be our first pose today. And you could have your legs closer together, or you might open your knees further out to the sides. And if you want, you can use a bolster under your chest or belly or head if you want a little bit of extra support. And we're just going to spend a couple of minutes here checking in with how the hips feel, how the back is feeling. Checking in with your breath. And just notice how your knees are feeling today as well. If there are any aches or pains in the joints. If there are, just be extra mindful with your knees, with your hips, with your ankles, as we go through the practice. And give yourself maybe 5 more breaths here, just softening with each breath out, allowing yourself to arrive into your practice, into your body, and just accepting how you feel today. And then practicing with kindness. If there are poses that hurt today or feel too intense, you might choose to skip a pose, or you might let yourself find a different variation. And then slowly, with your next few breaths, from child's pose, start to find your way into a seat or onto all fours, whichever way is easier for you to bring yourself out of the pose. And we're going to next move into a forward bending deer. So we're going to start by bringing the right leg, the right shin in front of us, sitting on the right hip, so leaning a bit more onto the right side, and then left leg somewhere behind you. If you want, you might extend that left leg further, see how you feel around that left hip. And then once you feel you have a safe angle in that right knee, you can start to lean forward over that right leg. You might lean over the knee, you might lean over the shin, and you could bring your bolster, pillow, again, to support your belly, your chest, or you might just have it under the head, but leaning into that forward bend. And with this forward bending deer, we are targeting a bit more the buttocks, the thighs. We have that forward bend in the spine as well. And again, just make sure you're not hurting in the joints, but looking for sensations in bigger areas, in the muscles, in the fascial tissues, not trying to push into the joints. And just follow your breath, follow that gentle flow of your in breaths and out breaths. We could spend another about 5 to 10 breaths in this forward bending deer. So let yourself soften through the shoulders. You might let out a couple of sighs, so exhale through the mouth. Allow those exhalations to release the neck, the shoulders, the upper back. Then, with your next few breaths, start to slowly find your way up into a seat, helping with your hands, with your arms to bring your back, your neck, your head up. And we're going to keep legs in quite a similar shape as we go into a reclining deer. So now you might bring your left knee, the left leg a bit closer. Fold the leg a bit closer to your pelvis. And you could move your bolster now behind your back. We are going to lean away from that left thigh. So now trying to access more the front of the left leg, the hip flexor line. And if you want, you can extend your right leg in front of you. So it's something between a reclining deer and the half shoelace pose. When you have your legs in a safe place, just slowly recline away from that left leg, either onto your back, or you might also lean a bit more onto your right side if that feels better. That might take some pressure off the left knee. And another option for your right leg would be to bring it back to that deer shape where it just was. So even a small change in the other leg might make a big difference in that left leg as well. And if you want, you might bring arms higher up, even overhead. So finding your shape and your edge. Stay on an edge where you feel it's easy to breathe. Send your breaths all the way down to your legs. You could visualize the breath sliding down through the pelvis towards the thighs, towards the knees. Allowing exhalations to soften. Whatever softening might be needed today. And we could spend another 5 breaths here. Again, you might let out a couple of sighs, exhale through the mouth. Remember, you can always adjust the pose. Even when we stay a bit shorter time, we might need to make some small changes so that the body feels safe, so that the pose feels manageable. And then slowly, with your next few breaths, lean onto your right elbow, lean towards the right side so that you could slowly bring yourself up out of that reclining pose and just release both legs. You could move your feet, move your ankles. Or if you want, you could bend the knees and just swing the knees from side to side a few times. And then we're going to go into a twist. And now we're going to come sit on the left hip. And we're going to go into a twisted deer, but with a bit more focus in the leg hip area. So I'm suggesting now we bring the right leg behind us. And then turn towards the left. And you could do this with a bolster or without a bolster. If you want to use a bolster, bring it next to your left hip and then turn your chest towards the bolster, leaving that right leg quite far behind you. So trying to, again, target that hip flexor line and slowly, with that twist, lean your belly, lean your chest down onto the bolster. And if you want, you can also lean your chest all the way down onto the mat. If you want, you might slide your right arm a bit further up along the mat. And that might catch that line from your right leg through your side all the way into that right shoulder and arm. But see how it feels. Head can turn to one side or the other. Just notice your breath. We could spend another 5 to 10 breaths here. And this twisted deer. If you feel like adjusting the pose, adjusting the legs or arms, feel free to do that. And slowly with your next few breaths, help with your hands, help with your arms to slowly bring your back, your chest, your head up. And we're going to now reverse the order as we go through these same poses on the other side. So we're going to start with this twist on the other side. You bring yourself onto all fours and then lean onto your right hip. So sit down on the right hip, bring the left leg a bit more behind you. And then we're going to twist again towards the bolster if you're using the bolster. And with that twist, leaning down into that twist. But now the twist goes the opposite way in our spine. And we're trying to open a bit more through the front of that left leg, left hip. And again, you might turn head to one side or the other. On this side, you might slide your left arm higher up. You're reaching that left arm away from that left hip and left leg. And send your breaths down towards the hips, down towards the legs. spend another 5 to 10 breaths here. And then slowly, with your next few breaths, again with the help of your hands and arms, slowly start to bring yourself up, lifting onto your hands, and then bring the legs in front of you. We're going to slowly transition into that reclining deer on the other side. So we could move the bolster again behind the back. And on this side, we're going to bend the right leg. So the right foot comes quite close to the buttocks. Left leg could be extended, or you might bring left leg into that deer shape. But trying to target the front of the right leg as we lean over the bolster. And again, you might lean onto your back, or if you want, you might lean a bit more onto the left side, kind of sideways away from the right thigh. You might bring arms higher up overhead. And this side might be completely different compared to the first side. Listen to your joints. Make sure you're not hurting in your ankles, knees, or hips. And just send your breaths all the way down towards the legs. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths here. Softening the arms, the shoulders. And then when you feel ready to let go of this pose, lean a bit more onto your left side to slowly bring yourself up into a seat. And we're going to lean into that forward bend. So now we're going to have the left leg in front of us. You bring your bolster pillows in front of you, and we go into that forward bending deer. So in your own time, start to round the back, lean the pelvis forward. And maybe using the bolster under head, chest, belly. This side could be very different compared to the first side we did. So let yourself adjust. See if you could find some sensations around the legs, around the hips, so maybe it's the buttock area or thighs. You might extend the right leg more behind you if you want. And you could send a few breaths towards the back side of the body. Then just continue observing your natural breath. another 5 to 10 breaths here. Then after those 5 to 10 breaths, slowly find your hands on the mat and slowly bring yourself up into a seat. We're going to bring the bolster under the legs and then come lying down on the back. So bring yourself onto the mat, on your back. And now you have two options here. You could either start your Shavasana pose here, just leaning your legs on top of the bolster. Or if you want to check in once more with the front of the hips, front of the legs, then bring yourself into a supported bridge by lifting your pelvis off the mat, sliding the bolster under your pelvis so your pelvis is elevated off the mat. And then you could extend your both legs if that feels good, giving that quite big opening through the front. Or you might opt for butterfly shape in the legs, and that might go more into the inner thighs. Just find your shape, and like I said, it could be Shavasana pose. Maybe it's been already enough targeting the legs. It might be time to rest. But you have an option to spend another couple of minutes in this supported bridge. Also softening the whole pelvic area, softening the pelvic floor. So really focus on sending your breaths down to the lower belly, down towards the pelvis. We have another 5 to 10 breaths. If needed, you might adjust your legs to a different shape. Take another bigger, deeper breath in and out. And then if you have your legs extended or legs in a butterfly, slowly bring your feet back onto the mat so that you could then elevate your pelvis off the bolster and either move the bolster back under the legs, or you might move it aside and then find your Shavasana pose, your resting pose. So you might use the bolster under the legs as a support, or you might just rest your legs on the mat, on the floor. Inviting yourself to find an easy pose for a couple of minutes at the end of this practice. Allowing a couple more minutes to breathe, to just be here, to check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling now as we're slowly coming towards the end of the practice. If you feel like you'd like to extend this Shavasana pose, if you have time, you are more than welcome to, and I would encourage you to extend your resting pose. Or if it's now time for you to close your practice, you might follow me into a seated pose. But feel free to stay lying down if that's what your practice needs today. And when you find yourself closing your practice, as always, take a moment to thank yourself at the end of the practice for slowing things down, for checking in with yourself, and for bringing yourself into your practice, into your body today. Accepting how the practice was today. And I thank you very much for joining in today, for sharing this time, sharing this practice. Namaste. Thank you.